word. Hate is a strong word. And so you have to try to look at this through the world's eyes and imagine them hearing it for the first time, where Jesus was saying, the world is going to hate me, so the world is going to hate you. And people on the outside say, is that, you really think that? Yes, we do really think that. And Jesus really did say that. Look with me in John chapter number 15. John chapter 15. And verse 18. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. This world hates God. The world is anti-God. Its attitudes and its philosophies, it doesn't like God. And you can even notice in our day a growing hostility more. Give you a phrase, ready? Chick-fil-A. I eat that Chick-fil-A. I can't believe they had that standard. And who do they think they are? Wow. Talk about vile, anger, animosity, and hatred. It is anti-God. You get people who say, I'm for what God has to say about marriage and one man and one woman, and what God has to say about the family, and what God has to say about the home. And boy, you see people's claws coming out. How does the world feel about Jesus Christ? Look back 2,000 years ago at Mount Calvary and find out how the world feels about Jesus Christ. Their attitude was nail him to a cross, kill him, and remove him from the picture. We don't like his rules. We want to stone him. We want to kill him. We want him gone. And get rid of his followers. Just get rid of them. Jesus says, I'm warning you. They're going to hate you. They hated me. They're going to hate you. That's the world system and the world philosophy. 3 in parentheses. Jesus also said the believer is not of this world. Jesus also said that the believer is not of this world. Here in John 15, look at verse number 19. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. You're not of this world. You're not a world's child. You're a kingdom child. You're a child of the King. For if you were a child of the world would embrace you and love you. But because you're not, you're a child of mine. They hated me. They crucified me. They said, we do not want this man to rule over us. Over us. They're going to hate you also. He said, pretty plain in John 15, the believer is not of this world. So if we're living according to the dictates of this world, with the philosophies and with those attitudes, then we're living disobedient lives. If the things of God are not a priority to us, we can say, oh, I love God as much as we want with our mouth, but our actions have always spoken louder than our words. We go out and knock on doors once a month, Saturation Saturday. We would all be loaded and rich by now if all of us had $1 for every time we heard people say it. Oh yeah, I love God. Oh yeah, the Bible, amen, I love the Bible, I love God. You go to church anywhere? No. Did you read the Bible yesterday or the day before? No. Do you have a prayer life, a living Bible prayer life? No. We can give a lot of lip service, but again, our actions are going to speak louder than that. Jesus said the believer is not of this world. 4 in parentheses, a Christian who is worldly is at enmity with God. A Christian who is worldly is at enmity with God. You write down the reference. It's James 4 and verse number 4, but I'll read it for you. James 4 and verse number 4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. That's what it means to be enmity. It means to be at odds with, an enemy of God. So when believers or professed believers have no problem being worldly, they don't mind being worldly, they need to realize they are at odds with God. They are at enmity against God. And what do we mean by being worldly? Their music is either godly music or it's ungodly music. Amen, preacher! The music we choose is either godly music or it's ungodly music. If it's ungodly music, then we're choosing the music of the world. Our appetites, our entertainments. Do we choose to go to church on Sunday or we choose to stay home on Sunday? Do we choose to go to church on Wednesday or do we choose to stay home on Wednesday or do whatever it is people go and do on Sundays and Wednesdays? Do we choose to read the newspaper or do we choose to read the Bible? Do we choose to spend some time in prayer or do we choose to spend some time on Facebook? What are our choices? Is it wrong to read the newspaper? No, we're not saying that. Not saying that at all. We're saying what are our priorities? And when we're supposed to be doing things of God, are we doing those things or are we doing things of the world instead?